What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about why Earthshaker is one of the best mid lane heroes in the current meta. This hero has been rising in the ranks super hard and even being played pretty consistently in Pro League and even being banned almost first phase almost all the time. It's pretty insane to be seeing a hero like Earthshaker who's been off meta pretty much for a long time. But the changes to him were so significant that it makes pro players value this hero, especially against melee heroes. His bonus attack range was increased from 75 to 100 on Enchant Totem and by 50 on Aftershock. What does that mean is that you're able to hit from further away with the Enchant Totem, and you're also able to land Echo Slams a lot easier because you have further damage. It's honestly very cool. You're going to be doing a lot more damage with all your abilities because that is what your passive does, and it makes this hero just a lot more viable, and his stats weren't changed at all, so this is just purely on the basis of that. And Earthshaker has been getting little mini buffs here and there from the last few patches, and it's making this hero insanely viable. I hope this hero doesn't get nerfed, as it's not absolutely broken. It can definitely be handled, and it does fall off in the late game. Even if you go for the dataless Battle Fury build with the Aghanim Scepter, it still falls off eventually, and people can just buy Blade Mail or Ghost Scepters. There's definitely ways to deal with the Shaker. One of the ways you can play this hero, you either play insanely aggressive where you're just going to every side lane, getting a bunch of kills and get your Blink Dagger or your Aghanim Scepter that way, or you stay in the lane and just absolutely dominate the other mid laner and make sure he's the one that has to go for rotations and not be able to farm the mid lane safely, which is a really big thing because they're gonna take a lot more rotations for them to come to the mid lane and be able to try and shut you down. And Earthshaker is a pretty tough hero to shut down, especially when he's got the levels from the mid lane and the farm. It's pretty hard to kill this hero, and most of the time he ends up turning it on his own with a nice placed Echo Slam or a nice fissure to block him so he gets hit by the tower. There's a lot of things you can do on this hero, and it's a really big playmaker. So if you're the type of mid lane player that likes to play very aggressive heroes or playmaking tempo heroes, Earthshaker is definitely that hero. You don't really need the Blink Dagger or the Aghanim Scepter to be able to make a rotation. You can do it just without it with a nice placed fissure. You can definitely close the gap quite easily, and if you have heroes like Bench that can swap, or you have heroes like Lion or Shadow Shaman that have stuns, then it's definitely a lot easier for you to make these rotations and you can help your team out. Or you just stay in the mid lane, absolutely farm everything and get absolutely massive to the point where they can't really stop you because they're not able to shut you down, and the enemy mid laner will not be able to stay in lane against you. This hero is mostly picked against Pango. It's picked against Kunkka as well. Those are very good matchups for him. Even against Invoker as well. Invoker doesn't really do a whole lot against the Shaker, and if you hit him off cooldown, he's definitely going to be shut down, as Invoker doesn't get regen from Quas anymore, which is a really big deal for him to sustain against this lane. It's a very heavy harass lane, and if you get yourself a bottle, and if they're a hero that casts a lot of spells, you're going to be able to always stay up to full HP and full mana, so that's very important for you guys to have. Don't go for the soul ring, as you're not able to get that HP back, and Shaker is pretty reliant on his HP pool. So just get the stick, get yourself a bottle, then work on your treads. Treads is honestly very good from the mid lane. You can get phase boots as well, I guess, if you plan on being insanely active early on and you don't plan on farming a whole lot because your lanes are going pretty bad. Then you can definitely go for the phase boots. It's very good. It'll give you that extra speed to be able to close the gap, as Earthshaker with phase boots is a pretty speedy hero overall. Even matchups like Necrophos, which normally dumpster a hero like Shaker, have been going pretty towards the Shaker side, which is honestly very interesting. You still lose matchups against heroes like Huskar, but Huskar is a lane dominator. He is meant to win his lane, but you absolutely obliterate the Huskar in the mid to late game, so that's definitely not a problem. You can always farm jungle camps. Earthshaker is a pretty decent hero, especially if you have a lot of points in your passive. You're able to farm jungle camps a lot easier, and if you have your bottle, you are able to sustain through those jungle camps, and it'll be a lot easier for you. But Pango, being a pretty good hero in the current meta and always has been, just a great team fight hero, Earthshaker counters him completely, especially in the laning phase. He cannot walk up without eating Enchant Totem to the face. You out deny him, you out CS him, and that's what makes this hero super strong in the laning phase. You can go for denies pretty much 100% of the time with your Enchant Totem. Nobody has enough damage to shut you down like that, and when you're not going for denies, you are hitting them left, right, and center. You are prepping them for when you get your level 6 on your Echo Slam, and you can just pop it and get it. It honestly depends on how you want to run this hero. I prefer to play him aggressively and not really stay in the mid lane too much, but if you're going to get a lot more value in staying in the mid lane, farming every single wave, and just soaking up all that pressure on the map, it tends to be a lot better for you to stay in your lane and not really go for a rotation that could definitely go bad, because Earthshaker is a very timing timing based hero. That is one of the things you need to make sure. If you need a blink dagger, you're the only initiation for your team, you need to be able to get that blink dagger quickly in a good manner, because then you're going to start falling behind. And like I mentioned, this hero is not very good in the late game. Echo Slam is always going to be a great ability even for the late game, but it gets to a point where Echo Slam is not going to cut it, and by then your teammates have to be in a pretty strong position, so you are able to buy space for your carry or for your offlaner to get their power timings as well. So you need to make sure you're playing for timings on this hero and farm as much as possible and shut down the enemy mid laner. I'd definitely like to know what you guys think in the comment section below about Earthshaker. Have you guys been seeing this hero in your pubs? I definitely have. It's quite strong, and even in matchups he's supposed to lose, he's definitely coming out ahead, or at least even, which is very strong for the hero. I hope he doesn't get nerfed, as this is one of my favorite heroes in Dota. I definitely enjoy playing this hero as much as I can, and when I see a melee hero that's pretty much guaranteed to be the mid laner, I just pick Earthshaker because I know I'm going to have a really good time and I'm going to be able to shut them down and stay in the mid lane free farming absolutely uncontested. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video and learned something. A like would be much appreciated. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.